Okay, so these are some of the things that we are about to discuss today. And since you already watched the videos, the session will be mostly Q&A, and so okay. Okay, Komal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the question is for you. So in the pedigree analysis, okay, if you have a pedigree chart, this symbol or this structure or this shape is used to represent
Male.
Perfect. Okay. Now, Vikram. Yeah, Vikram, can you just tell me how a female is actually represented? Yeah, so you can unmute your mic and then speak to me. That's fine. Okay. So this is your female. And this indicates Ravindra. Your Ravindra or Ravindra?
Yes, sir. Heterozygote male.
Right, heterozygous male. Okay, so hetero male. Perfect. Okay. Now, who else is left? Shalini. Yeah, Shalini, can you tell me, when you say heterozygous male, what do we mean exactly by that? Shalini? Can you hear me, Shalini? Okay, Shalini seems to have some sort of network issues. Komal, you want to take this? Okay, my question to you is, what do you mean by heterozygous male?
So one is dominant and the other is a recessive allele.
Yeah, you can even say carrier. Okay, one is dominant and the other one is
Recessive allele.
recessive allele. Okay. Now, when you say one is dominant and the other one is recessive allele, Vikram, can you just tell me, okay, are the alleles present on the same chromosome or different chromosomes? If they are on the different chromosomes, what do you call those chromosomes? Vikram. Okay, something wrong with your microphone? Can you answer the question, Vikram? So my question to you is, first question, are the genes, so in a heterozygous, if I said someone is heterozygous, okay, got it. Okay, Okay, fine. You can type in your answers. Okay. So my question to you is, if we say heterozygous, okay, now let's call this gene A, and let's call this, okay. Now in this representation that you're seeing on the screen, right? In this representation, if I have to say a person is homozygous for A, which picture would be correct? Homozygous for A, homozygous for the gene or for the allele A. Which one is correct? The first one, right? The first one is the correct one. Okay. Now, in the same example, if I have this allele over here, and on the same loci, both are A. This is also A, this is also A. But there is minor difference between these two. Okay, minor difference between these two. Okay, and both are chromosome 1 only. And because they are alleles, so the very definition of alleles is gene pair of genes, okay, gene pair present on homologous chromosomes. Right? Present on homologous chromosomes. Now, Ravinder, can you just tell me what do you mean by homologous chromosomes? What do we mean by homologous chromosomes?
When the identical alleles are present on the chromosome, it is said to be the homologous chromosome condition.
Suppose I have another chromosome. And this has an allele here, and this is A. Okay, so can I say this chromosome and this chromosome are homologous?
No, sir.
Okay, why not? Because you said alleles should be the same.
They must carry the same gene. They must carry the same gene from different parent to be homologous. Okay.
So yeah, you're correct, but you are not saying it properly. I can understand that you know the concept. So basically, you have two parents. You have the father and the mother. From the father, you're getting 23 chromosomes, and from the mother, you're getting 23 chromosomes. When you say 23 chromosomes, okay, depending, the chromosomes are, can somebody tell me how are the chromosomes numbered? Komal, how are the chromosomes numbered? How is the numbering given to chromosomes?
Don't know, sir.
Are the numbers given randomly, or is there a criteria based on which the chromosomes are numbered? Yeah, Ravinder, how about you? What's the criteria based on which chromosomes are numbered?
I don't know the exact criteria, sir.
No problem, no problem. Bikram, how about you? Do you have any idea? Okay, so the chromosomes are numbered based on the size. Okay, so chromosome 1 will be the longest or the largest chromosome, and chromosome 22 will be the shortest one. So they are numbered based on the size. Okay, so they're numbered based on the size. So you have chromosome 2 will be something like this, 3 will be something like this, 4 will be so on and so forth. Okay, so they're numbered based on the size. Okay, and then you have your X or Y chromosomes depending on the sex chromosome, depending on the combinations that you have. Okay, now so they're numbered based on the size. So if the red one I say is the chromosome 1, even mother will have the same chromosome. Sorry, the same chromosome 1. Even in the mother, there is same chromosome 1. So if you look at the arrangement of the genes in the chromosome 1, if this is the arrangement, even on the mother chromosome, the chromosome from the mother, you will see the same arrangement. Okay, you will see the same arrangement, more or less the same arrangement. Okay, so this one and this one, that is chromosome 1 from father and chromosome 1 from mother, are said to be homologous. Okay, and homologous chromosomes, okay, they are said to be homologous. So chromosome 1 from father, chromosome 1 from mother is homologous. Chromosome 2 from father, chromosome 2 from mother is homologous. Okay, homologous usually means having similar. So they usually have the same set of genes in the same arrangement. Okay, the same set of genes in the same arrangement. Now, so let's say this blue line is representing a gene. Okay, it's representing a gene which is actually coding for, which is actually responsible for the color of your eye. Okay, for instance, that is responsible for the color of your eye. So this position on the chromosome is called locus. Okay, so instead of saying, okay, it is here or it is towards the other end, we just say this locus, okay, or this locus. Now, on the same locus, okay, on the same locus, on the homologous chromosome, you will have the same blue colored gene. Okay, so locus is basically saying it is present at this location. Okay, it is present at this location. So we'll say they have the same loci, same location on the homologous chromosomes. So what are alleles? Alleles are gene pair that are present on the same loci on homologous chromosomes. On homologous chromosomes. Okay, so these two are homologous chromosomes. If you take two locations or two loci on the same chromosome, on the homologous chromosomes, you will see the same set of genes, and those are what we are calling alleles. Okay, so in this example, when we are saying heterozygous, that means you both have the same gene. Okay, you both have the same gene. Both the homologous chromosomes have the same gene at that loci, at that particular position, but there is minor difference in the sequence. Okay, for instance, if you take hemoglobin is actually made up of 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. Okay, and of course you have heme moiety. So the 2 beta chains is coded by a gene. Okay, one gene is actually responsible for the beta chain, one gene is responsible for the alpha chain. So this beta gene is being synthesized from a part of a DNA, which we are calling the gene. Okay, now if you look at the sequence of this gene, if you look at the sequence of this gene, it will have something like AUG, something, 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 something. Towards the end, you have, of course, this is the mRNA sequence that we are showing. So UAG, this is the mRNA sequence that we are showing. Okay, AUG, representation of mRNA. Okay, so let's say this is the mRNA for the beta globulin. So this is coming from a gene sequence. So within that, this is actually coming from a gene sequence, right? So what we are trying to say here is, so let's say this is from the father. This is from the father. Let's say the mother sequence is also there on the same exact loci. You have the mother sequence also, mother sequence coding for the beta globulin gene, the beta globulin protein of the hemoglobin, but there might be some difference. Let's say here there was GUG, and here you have GUU. Just to give you an example. Okay, so what will happen because of that? This will end up giving one form of globulin, because you're changing this nucleotide sequence is changing, because of which amino acid will change. So here also nucleotide sequence is different, so the amino acid will be different. So you'll get one kind of globulin here and a different kind of globulin here. Okay, and that is exactly happens in sickle cell anemia. So in people with sickle cell anemia, what will happen is, at the 6th position, if I'm not wrong, at the 6th position, they're supposed to have valine. They're supposed to have valine. Okay, sorry, they're supposed to have glutamic acid. I'm sorry. Normal people are supposed to have glutamic acid at the 6th position of the globin chain. So if you take the globin protein, the globulin protein at the 6th position, it is supposed to be glutamic acid. Normal people will have glutamic acid. And if some sort of a mutation happens and some change occurs in the gene, then this glutamic acid is usually replaced with valine. And when that happens, because glutamic acid is an acidic amino acid and hydrophilic, it can interact with water. Valine, on the other hand, cannot interact with water. So the valine tends to get buried inside. It tends to hide itself inside the protein. So the entire protein structure actually changes. Okay, so the only difference between this gene sequence and this gene sequence is just 3 or 2 nucleotides. 2 nucleotides are different. So that makes these alleles. So people who have the normal allele will have normal hemoglobin, will lead a normal life. And the people with just those 2 gene differences, just those 2 nucleotides, I don't remember exactly, but I think GUG codes for glutamic acid. I'm not really sure, but I think the only difference is 2 nucleotides. I think it becomes GCC or something. Okay, so just 1 or 2 nucleotide differences will actually change the amino acid. The entire protein structure changes and the entire hemoglobin function changes. So people with this gene copy will end up with sickle cell anemia. So when you say gene pair, so let's say this is the chromosome and this is the gene which is responsible for the beta globulin of the hemoglobin. And this is, let's say, chromosome 6. Then you have the homologous chromosome from the mother. Okay, and at the 6th position, if she also has a normal copy, you will end up being normal. Okay, now this is chromosomes. I'm saying this is chromosome 6. Okay, there are some genes which are associated with the sex chromosomes. Okay, if the gene is associated with sex chromosome, you all know that sex chromosomes will actually determine the sex of the individual. So if it turns out to be a boy, he'll have a different combination of sex chromosomes. If it is a girl, they have different combination of sex chromosomes. Depending on that, if it is associated with the sex chromosome, you will end up with sex-linked disorders. So what we are trying to say here is, if the father has a normal copy and the mother also has a normal copy, then there's no issue, absolutely no issue. If the father has a normal copy and the mother has a defective copy, okay, a defective one, for instance, this is normal, and then let's say this is the defective hemoglobin. Okay, just forget about chromosome 6. This is normal and this is defective this is the person who's getting this combination from their parents, father is normal, mother is defective. The person who's getting this combination will still be normal because he has one copy of, all you need is one copy. In most instances, all you need is one copy. If you have one good copy, that's more than enough. So when you have two of these and one copy is normal, that's more than enough. One copy is defective, that's fine, as long as not one copy. But imagine if both the parents had the defective ones, then the person who's getting this will show severe anemia. Okay, just ignore the chromosome number because some of these are actually associated with the sex chromosomes. Okay, so what we are trying to say here is, for every gene that is there in your body, you will have two copies, not just one copy. So if you say the beta glucosidase gene in your body or beta galactosidase gene in your cells, okay, we are always referring to two copies. Okay, one copy coming from the father and one copy from coming from the mother. If one of those copies are defective, not a problem, as long as the other copy is normal. Okay, so when you say heterogeneous, that is what exactly means. So one copy is there and one copy, it can be normal, it can be defective, but it's not the same as this one. It's not the same as this one. So this might have a sequence like AUG, GAC, and so on and so forth. This might have AUG, CAC, so on and so forth. Even that minor difference is enough to make them, they're not identical anymore. They're not, when you say identical, 100% matching. If they're not identical, we say homologous. Similarities are there. Homologous means similarity. So except for this, rest all are similar. Okay, so gene pair, when you refer to gene pair, this is what we are referring to. Okay, gene pair or alleles, this is what we are referring to. Okay, so allele by definition is a gene pair present on the same loci on the homologous chromosomes, same location on the homologous chromosomes, chromosome 1, chromosome 2, or chromosome 2, so on and so forth. Okay, so when you say heterozygous, that means both are different copies. Okay, both are different copies. The alleles are different. This has, if you take the Mendel's experiment, he keeps, we keep referring to heterozygous plant. Heterozygous plant, we represent T and T. Okay, so the idea here is one T is representing this, okay, normal one, and the dwarf one is representing this one, the defective one. Okay, and what characteristics are you actually seeing when you have an allele? When you have an allele, okay, when you have a heterozygous nature, when it is heterozygous nature, the phenotype that you see is only tall in Mendel's experiments, in Mendel P experiment. So this phenotype which is seen in a heterozygous plant is what we are calling the dominant characteristic. Okay, so you can